Hello. Okay, this is just for MorningHavok again. In response to your comment on my last video for you, you did want a little bit of insight as to kind of how to deal with closed-minded people. What I'm going to share with you is just the benefit is just my experience. So, if anyone else has any helpful hints or anything like that as to approach, it's mostly just like a social thing, pretty much. It is like sometimes it could be a battle of ethics, even religion comes into it. It could be like a smorgasbord of lame. But if anyone watching this has any constructive criticism or helpful hints as to help MorningHavok, and even me, deal with some of the resistance when talking about veganism, vegetarianism. MorningHavok, I am going to say veganism, but it can also be applied to vegetarianism to a degree. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so I will say this. I have never ever, I've been through phases in my life when I have, changed my religion or maybe my political affiliation, something like that. But I have never had, and when that happens, people are like, oh, good for you, whatever, whatever works for you, do your own thing, you're your own dog kind of thing. But that sort of, I hate to use the word tolerance, but that sort of attitude where it's like, okay, whatever, doesn't bug me too much, kind of gets set aside when it comes to food. And because it is it's a deeper issue than food. I'll just give you some examples. Basically, humans eat animal products for two reasons: culture and convenience. We don't need them. We can get anything else we need from, like I covered in my protein and calcium and B12 blah 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 video. We can get everything we need from plants or like enriched milks and like soy milk, almond, coconut, hemp, la 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 la, any kind of milk, right? Except dairy, because we don't want to drink dairy. No animal milk. Anyway, we don't really need animals. But the thing is, our society, especially North American society, we have it ingrained in our culture, every aspect of our life. There are animal products, animal-derived products, animal-tested products, everywhere. Everywhere. Like, we have made ourselves so dependent on using non-human animals that it's ridiculous. Seriously. So, growing up, people are usually, along with the status quo, very few of us were born vegan. I was not. So, growing up, you wear leather, you do this, that, and the other thing. Eat burgers, whatever. Drink milk, tra-la-la, everything's fine. Because that's just how it's done. That's just how it's done. Milk does a body good. You need it. It'll build strong bones. Da-da-da-da. Oh, you need to eat fish because their oils are this and that and the other thing. It's just, that's just our culture. So you need to keep that in mind when you meet people that are resistant to how you are. A lot of people, since the industries do such a good job of keeping us not connected to, they want us to just know the burger or the leather purse or the leather shoes. They don't want us to think about the cow that was screaming and crying or, the pig that was, had her teeth cut off without anesthetic. They don't want us to think about that. They just want us to enjoy the end product. And they do a very good job at keeping it that way, at, just keeping us totally separated from the life that the product came from. So once you become aware of the practices of these industries and where this stuff truly comes from, what goes into making it, and all the pain and suffering that it inflicts, you kind of, like a little light bulb goes on, you're like, ding, and you're like, oh shit, this is what I've been financing? I've been paying people to torture and murder animals. That sucks. The second you make that decision, it really changes the way you look at everyone around you. And you do need to take into consideration a lot of people just don't know what goes on. They just don't know. They don't know what goes into a chicken McNugget, which is... They don't know. They just don't know. So you kind of have to approach people if you want to do any kind of outreach, if you want to kind of teach people a little bit. You need to approach them with that in mind. Kind of just like a kid. Kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, someone that doesn't know any better. I know it sounds elitist, but whatever. That's the closest parallel I can draw, okay? And keep that in mind. Things to avoid. Talking about veganism or vegetarianism over a meal. Don't want to do that. If it comes up while you're eating, just say, you know what? If someone's like, oh, why aren't you eating this or that or whatever, you can just say, you know what? I'd be happy to talk to you about it, just not right now. You know, after the meal we can sit down. Because people do get defensive. If you're sitting there eating a salad or some faux meat or something and they're there just like chewing on a carcass and you're telling them, this is what you're eating, and this is what went into it, and this is why I don't eat it, defenses automatically go up. Okay? People do take it really personally if you turn away food that they offer you. Stuff like that. Oddly enough, if you're allergic to it or whatever, oh, I'm allergic to it, it's, oh, okay, cool. Whatever. But the second you say, oh, you know, no thank you, I don't eat it. And that's just all I usually say. I'm like, yeah, you know, thank you, I don't eat that. Or just, no thank you. They're just like, oh, well, how come? And you know what, I'm happy to talk about it later, just not right now. But, you know, whatever. And then come back to it. You know, if it comes up a conversation again later, just keep deferring. People will, they'll do all this stuff. Well, you know, animals are here for us to use. Well, you know, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that it's, you know, our, you know, say as to what animals are here for, or how they're used, for lack of a better phrase, or, you know, when they live, when they die. I don't think that's up to us to determine. I consider all sentient life the same. And I know that animals have the same wants and needs that we do. I mean, they don't want to hurt. They want to be with their own kind. They want to love. They want to live. And if anyone can tell you that. If you've ever seen an animal in pain, or an animal trying to survive, or looked at any kind of slaughterhouse footage where these cows are being led down the chutes and their eyes are wide with fear and their mouths are agape, they know exactly what is going to happen and they don't want it to happen to them. You know, just reach out how you can. Try not to get mad. It's hard. Just try and vent the anger into just keeping your voice calm and, you know, hey, I can show you some links. I'd be happy to talk to you a little more.